Hello everybody and welcome back to another Sponge Chat. My name is Jim and I am the author of Sponge GLT. Thank you very much for coming back again. This Sponge Chat we have another special guest, Cecilia Nobre. We got to speak about many different things. We got to speak about her journey from teaching into teacher training and also into materials development. So Cecilia, she's done lots of different work with teacher training, but also materials development on for example, her blog on Freed. And she's very active on social media with her Facebook group and stuff. And so it was really great to look at her inspirations and her motivations behind that. We also got to speak about some of the challenges that she's faced in not only as a teacher, but also as perhaps as a woman and also as a non-native teacher and teacher trainer. And so that was really insightful to see her thoughts behind some of the things that she's gone through. What else? We also looked at some book recommendations that she has for you guys. Now, if you do like this video, please give us a like, please give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. There are more Sponge Chats coming. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the future. Okay guys, take care. Hi Cecilia, how are you?
Hi James, how are you doing?
I'm good. Jim, we'll go with Jim.
Jim, okay.
I'm good. Thank you very much for being here this afternoon. I know that you're in Turkey. I'm in Spain, so I mean it's 6 o'clock. I think
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, I think you're an hour ahead, correct?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
7:15. Yeah. Okay, brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, thank you very much for taking the time out of your schedule to be here. From what we'll talk about in your emails, it seems like you've been going back. You were in Brazil seeing. You were in Brazil seeing your family, I believe, and then you came back.
My family, yeah, for 10 days. Yeah, I'm back now.
How was that? Was it good to go back to Brazil and then good to come back to Turkey?
It was great. Yeah, it was great. I really miss my family. I couldn't go there last year. I planned to go, but because of the all the restrictions, I decided to cancel. So it was great to see everyone.
Brilliant, excellent. And in Turkey, where are you?
I'm in Istanbul.
Istanbul. Okay, brilliant, excellent. Yeah. Okay, excellent. And I imagine it must. I mean, in Spain at the moment, it is crazily hot. Is it the same in Istanbul? I imagine.
Same here. Same here. Yeah, I had to fix my fan. So yeah.
Yeah, I've got like the fan here, just trying to keep me cool while I'm sweating. Yeah. Okay. Well, I suppose before we get into the Sponge Chat, as usual, I'll go through the purpose. So the reason for Sponge Chats was really to give teachers or EOT professionals, really, so not only teachers, but editors and so on and so forth, ideas on the different avenues that they can take within their career. So you yourself, you're a teacher trainer, a materials developer, you're an EAP tutor, and I think your experience and the context in which you've worked would be really interesting to teachers. And so that, for example, when they, as we come into the industry, often we think of, teaching, that's it just stops there, when in reality there are different ways and different avenues that teachers can take. And so I'd like to get various perspectives, because for example my how I got to become a teacher trainer, I imagine it's going to be quite different to yourself. And hopefully we can encourage teachers to not only stay within language teaching, but really to develop and increase the professionalism within our industry. That's my goal overall. So without further ado, I suppose let's shift the focus on to Cecilia. Why don't you tell us about you? Who are you professionally?
Sure. Yeah. So I've been a teacher for 20 years. Nobody believes when I say that because people assume that I'm much younger than I look. But yeah, it's true. 20 to actually 21. I started when I was 19 years old. So you do the maths, right? So I've been teaching for, since I was 19. And I started in Brazil. I'm Brazilian. So I started in Brazil teaching different groups, different contexts. And then fast forward to 2017, I did my master's in the UK at the University of Warwick. I was awarded the Hornby Scholarship, and this was a huge milestone in my career. So then in the UK, I also taught some volunteering groups, and it was a great experience as well, because I could not, it was the first time that I could not speak my students L1. So it was a huge challenge, and they were beginners, and I had to find different ways and techniques to be able to understand them, first of all, and create that rapport as well. So that was in the UK. And when I finished my master's, I came to Turkey. I didn't want to go back to Brazil. I came to Turkey, and I found this great job at a private university here. And since 2019, I've been teaching EAP, and it was my first experience as an EAP teacher as well. So, and I would say the way I started training teachers and working with teachers was, I would say it was in 2012, but then we can talk about that later, perhaps.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. That's what I'd like to lead on to now. I mean, your teaching experience is quite varied. I mean, you've obviously taught in Brazil, and then obviously in the UK and in Turkey. But you mentioned that obviously you moved into training around 2012. What was sort of the catalyst for that change, or what opportunity presented itself?
Yeah, I would say that was more an informal way of training, because in 2012, I created a Facebook group for teachers.
Right.
Which started with, very few people, and now it has almost really 10,000 teachers. And
Wow.
I am quite active in this group. So I've been listening and sharing ideas with teachers. So it's not a formal way, but I think that was my initial motivation to step ahead in this teacher training mode. And then it was the master's, because my specialism was teacher education.
Right.
So ELT with teacher education specialism.
Brilliant, excellent. And in terms of some of the training experiences that you've had, would you like to tell us about some of sort of the experience you've had training teachers or working in teacher education?
Yeah, sure. So I've done some workshops as a freelance teacher. I love working with videos, so I've done some workshops on how to use videos in their lessons. Um, Also, how to use authentic materials. So I've done some workshops, also some Facebook Lives through the Facebook page Teaching English British Council. And they usually share my lesson plans, and they invited me for some live Facebook Lives there. So I would say this is how I started delivering workshops.
Yeah, and it seems like you're also quite heavily involved in developing your own materials and putting these out to teachers around the world. What was why move into materials development? What was why is it just because you felt like there's something that you wanted to do, or you were good at presenting materials?
I wanted to do. I've always liked to develop my own materials, and as I've mentioned before, I like using authentic materials, so authentic videos. I didn't see that much in course books. I have nothing against course books, by the way. I'm not that kind of person, but I felt that there was a need for more authenticity. So I love using videos from, for example, from YouTube. There's a great channel called 60-Second Docs, and other authentic materials, pictures, news story. So that's how I decided to write my lesson plans and share it on my blog. And that led me to, I wanted to become more professional, to design more professionally looking lesson plans. And that's why I decided to join the course by Oxford University with John Hughes. It was great.
Yeah, that sounds like an amazing course.
It was.
Was it a big learning curve, the course, or were there a lot of things that you'd covered before?
No, it was a big learning curve. Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, it everything makes sense, But as I'm not an experienced writer. I would say that I'm quite novice in this area of writing materials, um, because I usually, I used to do that as more like a hobby, and when I had some time, I would design a lesson plan, and I didn't have any commitment to design something really really good. But now I am more aware of what should work, or what are the most effective ways of designing different exercises, like for speaking, for listening.
Yeah.
So so everything made sense. But when you are inexperienced, you don't think about those things, like criteria for writing materials, for example.
Yeah. I mean, the instructors on that course, but also I imagine that the other teachers and professionals taking that course, there must have been a wealth of knowledge, just
Yeah,
the
yeah,
people there. Yeah.
yeah,
I've
because we get to see other people's materials and feedback. They give us feedback as well, so it's great.
Oh, excellent. In terms of other development courses that you've taken, are there any that stand out that have been amazing?
Yeah, well, I've recently taken the course by ITD
Mm-hmm.
Pro. It's called Meaningful Action. It was delivered by the one and only Scott Thornbury,
Yeah.
and needless to say, it was amazing. It was an 8-week course, and it's focused on and this is the book that we based our and this is the book I want to recommend, how to use more humanistic teaching in our practice.
Right.
So that was very, I'd say, liberating.
Yeah. That's interesting. Was this I think I remember you writing a post on principled eclecticism. Was this based on this course, or was it based on another?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because each week we would read a chapter and discuss the ideas with Scott and the other teachers. So it was based on different chapters.
Brilliant, excellent. Yeah, I mean that's something I feel quite strongly with. In fact, I think I shared your blog post. I thought it was quite good, and something that teachers I think need to realize that there is eclecticism, but there's
Absolutely.
also principled eclecticism. I don't think they're separate.
Absolutely.
I think they need to go together.
Yeah, it's not everything goes right. There is, yeah, there are some principles, of course. Yeah.
No, interesting. And in terms of other qualifications, have you I'm not sure. Have you done a DOTA or a DIPTISO? Or
No, I
no?
haven't.
Okay,
No,
no,
no.
no.
I've done the masters. Yeah.
The masters, yeah. And I mean, the University
Yeah,
of Warwick is they have an amazing program there. And
they do.
it's quite a well-renowned program. Um, in terms
Yeah,
of
it's one of the top 10 in the UK. Sorry to
no,
interrupt you. Yeah,
no,
it's
no,
one of the
no,
top 10 in ELT. So I'm very proud of. I feel very lucky and proud to be part and to have been awarded this scholarship, because otherwise I wouldn't have afforded this. So it was
no,
great.
of course, yeah. In terms of so as you've moved into teacher training and materials development, I imagine there must have been some challenges along the way, or perhaps you're even still experiencing some challenges now.
Yeah.
Are there any that sort of stand out that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I think the first challenge would be, you know, the pressure you put on yourself is the what we call the imposter syndrome. So you know, no matter how qualified I am, or teachers in general are, and how much experience you've got, I don't know if this happens more with women, perhaps, but I feel that at least with me, you always have this little doubt, like, can I do that? Is, you know,
Right.
will people trust me? And I always I very perfectionist. I know it's a bit of a cliche to say that, but I am. If I know that I'm not ready to do something, I rather not do it.
Right.
So, but at least with me, that was the first challenge, to really to feel the courage to do something and to deliver a course, to prepare a course. And perhaps the second one is the fact, yeah, we cannot ignore that, is the fact that I hate this term. I hate it. It's the non-native speaker. So that's another challenge. And I think on top of being a woman, you know, I come from Brazil, and sometimes it's difficult to voice what you feel and what you believe. I've had a few little arguments on social media because of that, especially coming from men. So it is a challenge.
That's I think we should explore those two issues a little bit more. So
Sure.
the imposter syndrome, I think that's not only for teachers but especially for trainers. I think
Yeah.
is something that's very, very uh, always there. I mean, if I reflect on
Hmm.
my own experience, I would consider myself a junior trainer. You know, I've only been training
Right.
for three. I'm coming into my fourth year now, and
Hmm.
so not a very long time. And you know, sometimes I'm working with teachers that have been, you know, teaching and perhaps training themselves, you know, for 15 to 20 years, and you know, maybe they've done masters, maybe they've done more qualifications,
Hmm.
and you know, so there's these moments where I feel like, am I can I really do this? Can I really help them
Yeah.
look at that? So and
Yeah.
so yeah, I think
Do you
that's
compare
really right.
yourself, Jim? Do you compare yourself?
I don't compare myself in the sense like, this teacher has this many experience, this many years of
Mm,
experience, so they're better. No, I don't think that. I think the roles of the trainer and the teacher are quite different. So my
absolutely.
perspective of what a trainer um, is it's quite multifaceted. But I think at the end of the
Hmm.
day, our role is to help teachers understand what their beliefs are and look at how their beliefs are aligned with their teaching, or more often than not aligned with their teaching,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
see how we can make those work together, and then improving
Hmm.
along the way. Um, I'm not sure. Does that fall in line with what you think a trainer's role is, or are there any other
Yeah,
perspectives you'd
yeah,
like to mention?
yeah. And I think to show teachers that that there is no you know, teaching is not scientific, so there's no right answer for everything.
Yeah,
So this is what I usually tell trainees. Um, Even though we have, like, there's so much, you know, research on different areas, different aspects of teaching,
yeah,
uh, you know, of course, I think the best people who would truly know what's going on in the classrooms is the teachers. You know, I
yeah,
cannot tell them, um, no, this is the best way to do it. You know, so
yeah.
it's really to give them the tools so they can make an informed decision on, you know, what they should do in their classroom or not.
Yeah, I completely agree. I, I do think, however, that sometimes there is the perception from the teacher that the trainer is supposed to have the answer.
Yes. Yeah.
Which, you know, if it's on a course, for example, if it's teaching, for example, a course on task-based language teaching, and the teacher has no experience with task-based language teaching, of course, the trainer is there to provide content, understandable. But for example, in in-service training programs, you know, currently I work with quite inexperienced teachers, and they're very much, you know, always looking for the answer. And sometimes it's hard to not give them the answer. Sometimes it's hard because it's not from my opinion, right? So I find that difficult. I find that a challenge.
It is, but this is what we expect from novice teachers, right? Because of their lack of experience. And I think as they develop, they will understand that it doesn't happen like that.
Yeah.
But because I remember when a long time ago when I was a novice teacher, I was, you know, waiting for answers, you know, either with trainers or in the books. But when you start to dig in, you know, more, you find that people have different beliefs. Even researchers have different perspectives. So there is no right answer. Yeah.
I think that links quite nicely to the idea of principled eclecticism. It's like, if you're going to make those decisions, understand why. And that's where I think the trainers, our role then is to help teachers not only understand their beliefs, but push teachers to really say, okay, well, if you believe that, why do you believe that?
Yeah.
And
I agree.
Yeah. I'm reading Trainer Development by Raitan Bolitho. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Bolitho, I'm not sure. And it talks about this idea of, you know, trainers perhaps we really should hold our ideas back and let teachers develop themselves in the sense of become aware. And our goal is really to guide them, but provide, you know, little insights here and there. I still find that quite difficult because, you know, obviously some teachers, they are looking for those answers. It's quite difficult sometimes.
They are, it reminded me of you know, going back to the masters. I worked with Steve Mann. Steve Mann is the guy of reflective practice, and he talks about dialogic reflection, and this is what he usually says about this dialogic talk. So when giving feedback, really, you as a trainer, you should kind of mirror the teacher, and instead of, you know, we have to resist the urge of giving, you know, of giving advice or giving answers, but really ask those questions back to the teacher, or rephrase those questions. I remember he was also my supervisor, my dissertation supervisor, and it was great because I had so many questions to ask me, but he usually asked me back, like, what do you think about that? Do you think so? It was more like a therapy session, you know. It worked well. I got a distinction, but it was really interesting, the conversations we had. Because he didn't give me an answer, but it was really making me reflect on my questions, and making me find possible answers.
It's completely agree. But I will reiterate that I still find that quite difficult sometimes.
It is, absolutely.
Pull myself back. Now, one of the other points that you mentioned in one of the challenges is obviously being a non-native speaker, and being a female non-native speaker. That's something that I can only, I suppose, sympathize. I've never felt that that pressure before, and that's only something that when I came into the industry, in a very privileged manner, in the sense that I didn't intend to stay in teaching, and I was gifted with this godly power of being a native speaker, and at the time, I didn't, you know, I was oblivious to the dynamics of the language teaching world. And it wasn't only until I started, I did my Delta and was asked to really reflect on the teaching situation. And so being a non-native, sort of non-native English teacher and trainer as well, how did you sort of overcome those pressures? I mean, there must have been a lot of pressure, like you said, on social media. There's always arguments. I find that even I'm getting involved in saying, it's just ridiculous what people are saying. And looking at you state research and people are just like, no. So how did you look at your own identity and push yourself to keep going?
Yeah, well, in the past, I try to ignore and just try not to get those things hit me. But I noticed that if we ignore this, it will keep coming. So what I decided to do now, as much as sometimes I really get a little bit angry, is to voice my beliefs. So and really try to to make my point. And if people accept, if people accept, okay. If they don't, they don't, because we have to understand that. So what I usually do is, if somebody is harassing me, I block people, and I've done that before a few times. If people, for example, in this Facebook group, right? If somebody is disrespectful towards me or another teacher, or any time that this topic comes up, I know that there will be some arguments, and I just tell them to, this is not this is not right, and what I usually do, I try to not ignore, but just voice my ideas, and with some links, with some research, so people know it's not, I'm not a crazy person or angry lady, but really to show that it's not right. It's discrimination, and it should not be overlooked. So but the fact that I've become a trainer recently, a friend of mine once told me that, I hope I hope this person doesn't get angry. He once told me that, be careful, Cecilia, because there will be lots of jealousy. You will feel that. And I felt that already. I felt that, and I just try to surround myself with people who lift me up and support me. And haters are gonna hate, right?
Yeah. It's a very sad, it's a very sad fact that within our industry there's still this level of unprofessionalism, if you will. And it's sort of perpetuated by almost an industry bias. In fact, I'm working on sort of an article of my experiences working with certain non-native teachers in different situations. So, for example, this year in one of the workshops I was delivering for Cambridge University Press, I was working with teachers in a school, and a teacher, we went around and we're introducing ourselves, talking about some of the things we liked, and she told me her name, and I was like, she was a very Spanish person, and she had a very English name, and I was like, okay, do you have parents? Or I was thinking that maybe she was coming from a family member that was from the UK, but no, she'd actually invented a more British name so that she could get more work, and so that the perceptions of her students would be different.
It's not the first time I've heard that, to be honest. Yeah, it's not the first story.
It's for me, I was thinking, wow, this is to the point where this teacher has had to change her identity almost in order to feel like that.
I don't blame her. I don't blame her. It's a cruel battle, actually. Yeah. So and I think another thing why it's important to speak up in my case, because I know that other teachers listen to me, and I've had lots of, some hate, but lots of positive comments from other non-native teachers, and they say, this is great that that you that speak up and you don't let those people to harass you or to offend you. So I also do that for them, to show other teachers that we, we are worth, and we are qualified, and we are not can be we are as good as any other teacher. So I think it's important to not to be a role model, but to really show other teachers that somebody cares about that. They're not alone.
Exactly. I mean, like I said, I think there's a certain responsibility that comes with having a platform that we have, and and the thing that blows my mind is that the literature supports our opinion, right? So research, yeah, it's just anyway. Yeah. We'll leave the anger for the side.
Otherwise we will never finish.
Yeah, but thank you for sharing those thoughts and those experiences. I mean, there must be some painful experiences in there, so thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. It's okay.
Now we've spoken about some challenges moving into teacher training. But what about materials development? Because that seems to be another significant area of your teaching life. What were some of the challenges that you're still experiencing, I imagine, or even at the start with materials development?
To really make, to find good content that will last longer, not for, not something about the current affairs or anything that's happening now, but something that would last like long term. And to make, I think my biggest challenge is to make my materials more inclusive, because I know that they're not. So in terms of, more accessible to students with different learning needs, in terms of coloring, font, and things like that. I need to work on that.
Yeah. That's something really interesting. I was speaking to Karen Spitter and Suke from the Teacher to Writer, and they were talking about their new book by Tyson Seaborn, and it's on writing inclusive materials. I haven't read it. I haven't read it, but I've heard from people that have, and it's a very, very positive review. But it's something that, like you said, writing inclusive materials, and like you said, making your materials more inclusive for everyone. It's a difficult thing, I think, to do. But just because it's difficult, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't do it, I suppose, is the thing to say, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I love the challenge.
Yeah.
Give me the challenge. Yeah.
No, brilliant. So in terms of, let's say that there are teachers, perhaps in, teaching in Brazil or teaching in Turkey, teaching anywhere in the world, native, non-native, doesn't really matter. But what advice would you have for them, perhaps if they're looking to move into, we'll start with teacher training. What advice would you have for teachers looking to move into training?
I think the first one is to do. I think we can't skip that, to do an advanced course or a certification such as the Delta or an MA or the TESOL. I think this is very important. I don't think that CELTA holders have the have all the skills to become a trainer, unless they have done other courses, right? I don't know, but unless they have done other courses, I don't think that only the CELTA it's enough. But also, I I think it's important to talk to teachers,
Right.
you know, informally as well. I think because this is how you will understand what they need and what kind of help you can give them. Because even in teacher training, there are different niches.
Yeah.
So you can work in materials writing, you can work on uh, delivering skills workshops, for example, or focused on more research. So or young learners or different age groups. So I think this is important as well to really connect to teachers and see what they need. And I think that Facebook groups are great. The online communities of practice like Facebook or LinkedIn, perhaps, or even on social media. So I believe these are, they are good starters. Um, what else? And deliver workshops for free, perhaps. This is how I started. Try to create workshops and deliver workshops or webinars for free and get feedback from teachers.
Right.
This is very, very important. Get honest, constructive feedback from teachers through a survey or anonymous survey and something like that.
Yep.
So you can improve your skills. So I think these are, perhaps good ways to start.
I mean, you're echoing pretty much what many of the other trainers have said on Sponge Chats, and I really like what you said about, working in your own context, informally, just helping teachers. Kind of, you've mirrored what Tom Kiddle said. All teachers are teacher trainers the moment they start giving advice to other teachers, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think that's where you find, if you have a lot of ideas, if you find that teachers are coming to you for advice on anything really, then maybe that's a sign that teacher training could be for you, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I have almost every day I have like messages, DMs on my Instagram or Facebook from teachers asking different sorts of things. And sometimes I try my best to help everyone, but sometimes I don't have the answer, or I recommend somebody else. When, for example, when there's a teacher asking for some advice on what materials to use with young learners, I recommend like Claire or other friends who work with young learners. So I think, like talk to teachers informally and help each other. Yeah,
definitely. And what about moving into materials development or materials writing? Would you have any advice for those teachers?
I think it's very important to join a course. So I highly recommend this one. I did at Oxford University, but I think it's an annual course, so they will perhaps run again next year.
Right.
But I know Niall has also they are also running a course, right? And I'm sure
the
that
materials development one.
I'm sure that it's amazing, and get feedback from more experienced writers. I'm sure that if you perhaps start sharing your, not only from writers but from teachers as well, you start sharing your lesson plans on your blog, and again get feedback from teachers, you will improve. But this is what I'm trying to do professionally, and I think this course was very important to me, to give me, everything I need. Oh, hopefully everything I need to start my career in publishing.
Yeah, brilliant, excellent. And
something as a side job.
Yeah, amazing. It seems like you've placed quite a high value on courses and development courses and working with other professionals. That's something that
I do. Yes, I
yeah.
love doing courses. I love
Yeah,
it.
I think
because of the networking as well, not only because of the not only because of the tutor, but also the networking is amazing. You know, the other teachers that you get to know and share ideas. It's great. So I love doing courses. Yeah.
Yeah, I
and
think
attend the webinars. That's another passion. I love webinars. I've attended like so many this year. Yes.
No, I really like what you said about the courses, that not only are you working with, you know, people that are far more experienced within that theme or that topic with you, but it's that idea of networking and working with teachers or like-minded professionals, right? Like everyone's there for the same reason. And you know, I still talk to people from some of the courses that I've done. So it's building that network that you can sort of go to and share ideas with.
Isn't it amazing? Yeah.
Amazing, phenomenal.
So it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So some really nice pieces of advice there that I think are applicable to everyone, no matter where they are. And of course, one thing that teachers can do, no matter where they are in the world, hopefully, especially now with, you know, for example, online sources, is reading. I imagine you are very similar to me. You're reading 3 or 4 books at the same time, and trying just like, I want to read that book. But do you have any, I suppose, if we're focusing on, for example, teacher training or materials development, are there any recommendations that you have for teachers?
Yeah. One book that really that has changed my mind and my perspective was the one from Steve Mann and Steve Wash. Is reflective practice. I don't have it now because I left in the UK. When I moved, I had to leave lots of books, but it's a reflective practice. I forgot the title, but it's like reflective practice 2017. It was first launched. Reflective practice, and this is great. It's on my desk. Meaningful action. Earl Stevenick's Influence on Language Teaching, edited by Jane Arnold and Tim Murphy. This is a great book. I think I've read most of it, through the course, and I'm always going back to, have like notes and everything. So it's an amazing book.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I would say those two. They are
those
good starts.
Brilliant, excellent.
Yeah.
I haven't actually read any of those. They both sound really interesting. At the moment, I'm reading 3 or 4 books, and it's like, there's so many books that I want to read. Why don't I have more time?
We want to read like so many books at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
when you have time. Yeah, I highly recommend those.
Yeah, no, brilliant. That sound like really good suggestions. And I mean, if Thornbury is running a course on meaningful action, then I mean, he's lending his weight to the book itself, right?
Yeah.
No, that's brilliant. Just on a side note, you mentioned that you wanted to move into publishing, or as a side job, get paid
as a side job. Yes.
As a side job.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. How are you going about that? I mean, obviously that's something that you're looking to get into. Are there any avenues that you're actively seeking at the moment? Are you like, I don't want to go into details specifically, but are you speaking with publishers, or are you speaking with editors?
Not yet, right. But I'm thinking of doing that. I'm thinking of doing that. Contact publishers. A piece of advice that John Hughes shared with us is to start by writing teacher notes. Because he said that, I didn't know that. He said that publishers really want writers to write teacher notes because of the amount of work, really. And usually, and it's something that I didn't know, that the book authors do not really write teacher notes. I thought they wrote everything, but it's not like that. So perhaps I will start writing teacher notes. It's not something that I love doing, to be honest. I really like to, get my hands on the activities and working with learners. But it would be a great challenge.
Yeah.
Right. So sometimes we have to do things that we don't love. And I think I will start with teacher notes and offer my this service and see how it goes.
Brilliant.
But I don't know if this will work. And keep sharing my lesson plans on Freed on the blog. So
I was going to mention Freed. You're very, very active. In fact, I only found out about Freed by seeing one of your posts. I think it was on Facebook that led to Freed.
Yeah.
And there's like a mini section for EOT. It's like there seems to be
a community.
A community, yeah. I thought it was brilliant. There's loads of stuff on there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is great. It's a great community. I'm actually their ambassador, the ELT ambassador, and it's a great community. There are nearly 6,000 teachers, English teachers on Freed.
Brilliant.
So, and they share different articles, lesson plans, and it's great for networking as well.
Yeah. So is the goal then to make Freed the social media for language teachers?
It's more than social media, really. It's a community. It's not like Facebook for teachers. It's the plan is to really have a teaching hub, right. To see Freed as a teaching hub with courses, with forums, and space for teachers to share their materials and interact with others.
No, brilliant, excellent. Well, I'll leave some links to your blog and to Freed in general,
sure.
And because there's loads of great stuff on there.
Yes, loads.
I'll make sure to leave links
teachers.
there. Okay. Brilliant. Well, Cecilia, I'm not going to keep you any longer. I feel like I've taken up loads of your time. You've given us plenty.
No, it's fun.
We've looked at your motivations for moving into training and materials development, some of the challenges, quite big challenges that you faced along the way, some advice and some book recommendations. And I have no doubt that teachers somewhere in the world are going to find this information useful.
I hope so.
No, I'm sure, 100% sure. So thank you very much for your time. It was lovely to speak to you, and hopefully we get to see each other again, a webinar or somewhere.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jim. It was a pleasure, and speak to you soon.
All right, Cecilia, take care. Okay. Bye.
Bye.